Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how I stake my tomato plants and prune them to a single stem. There's a few reasons I like to do it this way. The main reason is you get a lot better airflow going through the tomatoes, which reduces disease or chance of disease, some pests, and then you have the potential to get a lot bigger tomatoes. You're not going to get as many because I'm cutting off a lot of the tomato plant, but I usually get a lot bigger tomatoes and a decent amount. These are the indeterminate ones, which will just keep growing as tall as you let them, whereas the determinate ones over here, I just let them go. The only pruning I will do is the bottom, just any leaves or anything that are touching the soil. And that's where the blight comes from. So I'll just trim off anything low. Now with the determinate ones, I've already trimmed and staked some of them. I got way far behind, and when you get way far behind, you end up with a plant that lays down and curls, and it makes it a little harder to stake, but they will straighten themselves back out. So when it comes to pruning a single stem, so you can come down here, like this one's I already staked up. So I will cut off everything and just leave the main stem. Now, when it comes to, mostly you want to pinch off all the suckers. So a sucker is, as you come up the main stem, you will get a leaf branch, and then at a 45-degree angle, you'll have a little sucker coming out. And you just keep pinching off them, and they grow fast. As you can see, this is another plant trying to grow off the end here. I'll just trim that off. But let's see if I have another good example before I get to it. Over here, this one was already flowering quite a bit, so I am doing this as a double stem, so you can see it wide off here. And instead of just cutting one of these off, which I did on a lot of the other ones, I put another stake in, so now I have two plants going. And I think that might be the only one I let double stem them there. Here's a good example. I didn't trim this one off all the way. So we come up here, we got the leaf branch. Right in the crotch there is a sucker plant. These will grow into full-size tomato plants. You can actually put this in water, it'll root out, and you could grow another tomato plant from it. I have done that before. And same thing, follow up, leaf, another sucker. You can cut it or just pinch it off. Keep following up the stem, leaf, another sucker, following up the stem, another sucker right here. And then you got the first set of tomatoes forming. So I will definitely get this one tied back up. But as you can see, all the tomato plants bended because they were laying down. And of course, they're going to bend and try to go straight up. So we'll get to some I have not staked up yet. I did trim some of the bottoms here. So it can be a mess when you wait as long as I did and procrastinate. So this was a leaf branch I cut off. This is a sucker. So I will cut, and I'll pretty much cut everything off up to the first set of flowers. So in here you can see a little sucker. Pinch that off. And then over here, this is what the suckers grow fast. So I know it can be a little devastating to cut a lot of the plant off, but so you keep following up and just keep pinching off those little suckers, because like I said, they will get big fast. And then what I use, I just have some wooden stakes, which are not the best, and some stretchy nylon string here, elastic or whatever you want to call it. And since this stretches, I can go pretty tight, because as the plant grows, it will stretch it out. And now that opens up the entire bottom for airflow, to weed, and usually I have mulch on pretty much everything by now, but it's just been so cold. I wanted the soil to heat up better for the tomatoes and peppers before I threw some mulch on there. I don't want to keep the soil at like 60 degrees. I want it a little warmer than that. So as this keeps growing, I will keep cutting branches off all the way to where all you see is just tomatoes. So as this grows, gets bigger, I'll cut this off, and I'll just keep pruning it all the way up. We got another one here. You can get it on this side. See, we're following the stem up. We got a big sucker here, and a whole nother plant growing here. I know you might cringe when I'm cutting off that much, but like I said, you could take this, stick this in a glass of water, and after like a week, you'll have roots forming all over in here. Now, the first couple days, all these are going to wilt and it's going to look dead, but just give it 2 or 3 days and you'll eventually see all the leaves and everything start to spring back up and the roots starting to form. And after like a week, I just pot it in some soil, give it another week, and then you could plant it in the garden. But see, I cut off a whole nother tomato plant here, and it's already starting to flower. I'll do the same thing, follow it up. There's a sucker in there, and then I'll just try to tie it up the best I can. I do wrap the little stretchy string around the stake a couple times just to keep it from sliding down. And like I said, the top should straighten out and try to go straight up. I gotta weed the area too. So sucker, and you can see right here, big sucker coming. And right here. And then you got the first set of flowers right here. And when it's bent like this, I just tie it up at an angle. And like I said, this should start to curve back. It should, in theory. we'll see. Either way, I'm getting it off the ground. Oops, I forgot to wrap it around. A tomato is technically a vine, so they'll bend all different ways without snapping. You just don't want to be too rough on them. I could have staked it like that, I guess. I'll give it a few more days, and when I come retie them, that's what I'll do. But as you can see, if you look down here, you got all that open area for air to flow through, keeping all the leaves off the soil, and it just opens it up way more. As opposed to this one, this is just going to be packed in with branches and everything eventually. So, there you have it. That's how I do my tomatoes here. And hopefully you learned something. Learn what a sucker is maybe. But anyway, thanks for watching. And we'll hope to see you on the next video. Bye.